I'm back in the game. It's been a long break, I guess. I don't really want to call it a break. It's just been the circumstances, but I'm back. I know it's been a stressful hiatus, a forced hiatus. But we have Snow League Season 3, I believe Division 2 action. I will check the latter half of that right now. That is correct. Division 2, I believe it's sorted by rank. For Nocturnal Team 2 will face off against Real Ones. I don't know much about either of these teams. I did peer at their rosters going into this, and I do know that that I know some of these players. Obviously, Nocturnal having some issues getting players on tonight. They apparently requested, I think, at least one, if not two, off rosters because they were having because they had a guy that was still on cooldown, and then I think another player couldn't join, so they sort of had to scramble for it, and I believe it was proved. I could be wrong. I'm like walking through the motions right now just to check for myself. Okay. Yes. I don't know. Sorry. And then the other side, defending here on Skyscraper, and I'll talk about the bands and the map itself in a moment, is Real Ones. I believe they actually renamed this week from a different name. Sorry, I'm still trying to... No, they just did a name change, but... No, looking at their roster, it seems to be very similar to what was, I believe, Shesti Lecheros. So just an interesting sort of parallel there. Although, from what I can tell, a solid amount of that roster is actually... Never mind, I'm going to take back what I was about to say. Yeah, sorry, I'm still trying to get back into the groove, folks.
10 seconds left.
Shit is playing. That's weird, Canadian. To talk briefly about the bands, considering this is Skyscraper, which is a slightly attacker-favored map, pretty standard map when it comes to how bands develop. I think it's interesting that Finka was banned, considering she did take a pretty noticeable nerf. If I remember correctly, she lost frags, as well as took a recoil nerf to that 6B41, that LMG of hers. And then still a strong operator regardless, because of the fact that she is pretty much the only person, as so we can see the Thunderbird of Trisket is trying to hold down just sort of a shallow roam across the top floor, trying to hold down some valuable land, but a valuable area. But as I was saying, that Finkel, the only real operator on the attacking side that it's capable of, has caught him is down and out, courtesy of Shallow for the first kill of this match. The only real attacking operator capable of getting a revive from that far away and getting heals really is that Finka. So I think that it's important to note that she was taken out. The other one is Nomad. Interestingly enough, both Thatcher and Maverick left on the board. I think Thatcher and Maverick are starting to become less necessary bans with the addition of that Impact EMP device. I think that could bring some more versatility to lineups, and I think that that's a good and important thing to keep in mind. So I just find that to be an interesting choice here, especially considering that on a lot of these maps, the standard way to push it does involve often going through a doorway of some sort. Shallow sort of traded there. Obviously, had a delay, courtesy of Trisket. Mushroom going to take a bit of damage now. He'll fall at the ends of 8. As it now goes to 3v4. Trisket going to take a bit of damage, trying to fend off another attacker here from that shrine side, from the opposite side of that top floor. But to talk about the defending bans, Mute, I can kind of understand. There is a lot of, as Shilky will get one, Sprite gets another, as the defending team here, as Real Ones takes them in. Actually, trying to fight back on man disadvantage here. Could be wrong. Trisket gonna get a double kill now. Frag goes out from Shelky. As you can see, assisted by Sprite, as they'll now push into T-Room. Trisket falls in the hands of Shelky. Shiesty gonna pick one off here. And now it's up to the Jaeger here of Shiesty Cold against Shelky. Very low health. Gonna now try and rotate around. Does have time here. I don't know if Shiesty has realized that Shelky rotated. He's very focused right now on that doorway, on that breach. So needs to be cautious here. I think Shelky's gonna just try and push in here quietly. Holding the angle, waiting this out. Low time for Shelky. Needs to make a move quickly. Just waiting it out. Almost had his crosshairs on him through the wall. Unfortunately, don't think he was aware. Gonna just inch his way here. Shiesty moving around. Shot in the back. Gonna turn around, realizing it. Both of them on a sliver of health. One shot, one kill ultimately needed here by Shelky. Capping off a 3K, an impressive round for him. And an early lead for Nocturnal Team 2. To return to the defensive bans, that mute, understandable, I'd say. I would say for denial, it would be better to go for Cade, but mute is a very multi-purpose operator, capable of countering a lot of different operators. Notably, you know, obviously all drones, Twitch, Flores, from this lineup alone, Thermite, Jackal, within the Mute Jammer's radius, Yana, good amount of devices as well. So he is very useful. Used to be a lot stronger, I'd say, before they changed his area of effect. But understandable. I think they're going to be trying to, focus more on intel with that mute off the board. Then the other defensive ban is Capcan. Not a huge fan of a Capcan ban. It's just me though. Doesn't bring a great gun. Nothing special about his secondary gadgets. And then the EDD. I mean, it's just good against stopping a rush or good at punishing opponents that grow sloppy. But outside of that, I don't see a real need or use for that sort of ban. So we'll have to see how it goes. But an overview. Really, a review of that past round. The best way to sum it up would be same site as this round, same sort of defense as this round, a push from across the top floor. First pick went in favor of the attacking team as they slowly moved their way across the top floor, took this T-wall, and then eventually came down to 1v1 as Shelky's already going to get an early frag here onto Aiden. I think stopping a run-out possibly. He did have that orc, so I think it might have just been a pocket pick trying to get a spawn peek kill there, try and get some sort of early lead, but immediately backfires here as Nocturnal will again take that early pick, again take that early lead now against Real Ones. So you can see a bit of a heavier roam, it appears, from Real Ones. They have now, I think, 2 players situated over on that office and exhibition side. Sprite can take a bit of damage. He's taken out, actually. That would be Tuka the Thatcher removed. Shelky will pick off Cottom, so does trade out that alibi, but still losing that Thatcher is not a great start for them, especially considering they are going to have to push against a Cade on that same wall that they took in the first round on this T-wall, which really opened up that site, gave them just sort of a mental edge, in that Shiesty, who was the last one left, had to focus on pretty much 4 entryways, 2 doors behind him, 1 in front of him, as well as his Shiesty takes down Sprite. Shallow's going to get one under Trisket, but as well as that breach on that wall, so this provided a bit more protection here. Man advantage will remain now for Nocturnal Team 2, as it's up to just VX and Shiesty Cold. Player who got 2 kills last round and brought it down to a 1v1 ultimately, but was unable to follow through. Just, that push really culminated last round with Nocturnal getting that wall, pushing through, and then, just playing the numbers game, really. I believe they maintained a man advantage through most of the rest of that round. Print going to be trying to actually get a kill here, running oddly enough, the TCSG suppressed. I think that's an interesting choice, as he's just trying to really, anchor the objective, hold down the line, really, for his team. Shiesty as well, honing down this hallway, the same hallway, in fact, which Shelky in the first round moved his way down in order to pick off Shiesty in order to win that last round. Spots him, tries to quick peek him, trying to pre-fire. Shiesty, however, has him locked on. Gets the headshot. Traded by Shallow, however. Good comms will give another round here to Nocturnal Team 2. Shallow, as that Jackal just slides up the hallway, gets 2 kills, gets a round here. So they will now continue to grow their lead. Shag is my dad. High Serenity.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
I know, I'm back. I'm hoping to do this more often. That probably won't really... I think I'll be more active after November, there. Especially after January. But until then, I think it's going to be, especially through mid to late October, it's going to be really busy for me. And then I think I'll be able to cast more and such. Yeah. So that's the scoop. Switching their tactics a bit here. Real Ones down 0-2, going to the same site twice. Unfortunately, did not prove any more fruitful second time around. Don't actually rotate to where they had a sort of a roam setup, a small extension. Now on the office and the exhibition side here. This Shiesty appears to be, yep, AFK or not, as seemingly the same approach here from Nocturnal. I find that interesting, considering that it's actually a different site now. And this Mira setup here, Aiden with those two mirrors, one in that minibar area, one over here in exhibition, and they'll be using that to really try and isolate this wall here, try and pick off any attackers that are trying to move through it, and I would say to an extent try and limit the access of terrorists here from that side, although I would say it's not going to be very successful. Shelky, however, will fall here. The first time now, the Real Ones will actually get a man advantage early in this round. Going to hopefully allow them to sort of throttle the attacking team and force them to maybe slow down a bit. The other thing to keep in mind is that Shelky is currently their top fragger. I mean, the rest of the team has a combined 5 kills among 4 players, so he's certainly been the difference maker, and at least this early on, having that player out of the round is going to be a very clear detriment. Shallow, however, punishing Aiden for that pre-fire, really. Just holds down the angle, holds down the line, really, and will get a kill. Print, I think, is going to try and challenge him. No, never mind, I'll actually rotate away, but sort of a fraud situation now, as it appears that Shallow is going to be trying to apply some pressure on that Mira, allow his team some room to breathe here, really. And Brent will pick off Mushroom as he tries to, I believe, throw a smoke grenade. Actually, an impact EMP. My apologies. Shallow gonna now inch his way in. I believe they were trying to take down that Malusi that was right on top of him. He'll swing around. Does not, however, notice Brent, who will now get a second kill, it appears. Looking for a third, possibly. Tuka swings, gets the kill, however, saves his teammate. Shallow's down now. 1v3, Conham and Shiesty both get kills. It's up to just Tuka. Just the stature here to try and pick up this round. Sees that alibi there of Caught him. Now backed into a corner, holding down the angle. Caught him, catches him, takes him out. Finally putting his team on the board here. Still, however, fighting a deficit. I was in New Orleans last weekend, which was actually really fun. Hi, Noki. Yeah, I got to do some fun things in New Orleans, such as see the pushing match between Mike Evans and Marshawn Lattimore. Alright, now, round 4. We're just about halfway through this first half. The defending half of Real Ones And they have not done well on this site. They are 0 for 2, even when bringing in reinforcements. You know, bringing in a Cade, really doubling down on this roam here in that office exhibition minibar area. Even doing that to really try and counteract the push that we saw in the opening round from Nocturnal Team 2. It did not work, simply put. So we'll have to see. But statistically speaking, this has not been the strong side of Real Ones. So I find it interesting that they're deciding to go back, try this again, see if the third time's a charm, or if it's just going to give another round here to Nocturnal, who, mind you, still have momentum, really. Sort of wind in their sails. Going to be a hologram that is spotted there by Cotton. They'll actually take their head right off Tuca, removing that Thatcher again. However, it seemed to not really change the game in the last round. In the last time he was out quickly, especially on this site in that second round, it didn't seem to prove that much of a detriment in the long run. So you can see Aiden here trying to roam around below, trying to provide his teammates some assistance, but not really in a position. I don't know why he's not over by House here, where he'd be able to actually get those scans in. Triska going to pick off Shallow, as they're now slowly picking apart this attack here from Nocturnal. They seem to finally have cracked the code, and it's starting with that roam. Has caught him really able to just sort of fleece that attack. I think Aiden's still below here. Interesting choice around the M5 in my opinion, on an unrelated note, but as you can see, Nocturnal has seized this house side. Nitro going out, I believe he's pre-placed it. I'm not exactly sure. Don't know if and when that would go out. Shoots it. Hits it, sorry, and does not get anything, but still, that roam there of Real Ones as Sprite will try and even the odds here. Still managed to get 2 kills, which is really good, especially for the amount of time that it wasted in combination. Triska going to get 1 here, and this lead is just not going away. Or this deficit is not going away for Nocturnal. Mushroom going to actually wallbang VX there. I don't think he even realized it. Just fired through trying to get somebody, and he ended up hitting a headshot. Very unfortunate set of circumstances there for that bandit. So you can see Sprite trying to push in, coming in by Mushroom. Both of them pretty much doing the same push that we saw last time. Obviously can't open up this T-wall, so it's certainly going to make their job a bit harder here, but still looking to go through that hallway side. And as the old saying goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Except it might actually break this time. Shiesty going to get 1, and Aiden closes it out. That roaming pulse on his way back in late in the round, maybe a bit too late. Turns out just on time. Flanks that ace there, takes him down, brings his team back to even, gets his team at least on the board for when it comes to their performance on that site. It is typically, you know, Karaoke and T is typically the strongest site for many teams. Maybe it isn't for Real Ones. Maybe they need to adjust to instead defend first, you know, office and exhibition, but it's good that they were able to show that they can at least do that. They can at least defend that. But, you know, it's still important as well, because on the opposite side, if you go look at it from the perspective of Nocturnal Team 2, who I believe will eventually be called, what I've heard is Nocturnal Owls. You know, so I just blanked. My apologies, folks. Anyways. But as I was saying, for Nocturnal Owls, Nocturnal T2, if they had won that round, they would have guaranteed themselves at least a 3-3 split at half. Possibly more. So at this point, it's leaning more towards a, if not a 3-3 half, maybe a split in favor possibly of VX, and that's optimistic, obviously, for them. You know, they've started to gain momentum very clearly. They just had 2-round rally, and they're looking to expand that into 3 as we approach this round, this penultimate round of the first half. But we'll have to see if that materializes, really. Obviously, the big question is how well do they defend house and back? This is not the strong side for very many teams. Aiden going to take a lot of damage there, however, able to pick off Sprite. I think he's going to rotate around, try and possibly get some heals here. I mean, he's a strong gust of wind could blow him over at this point. That's how low he is. So really needs to get back to site, heal up real quick before he gets back out in the field. And I think that's what he's going to do now, as he's managed to make it worthwhile, though it might now be a bit difficult to get himself back up onto that exhibition and office area. I think he's actually going to be accompanied now, this time around, by, I believe, by Cotton. Strangely, strange choice, really, to have that Mira roaming up there. You know, sort of hard to rotate 3 armor out of that area. Loud, slow. Is a bit tanky, though. So it could be possibly beneficial when they're trying to hold down this sort of little pocket here formed by Minibar and these 2 reinforcements. We'll have to see how well that ends up going for them, as it's going to clearly present difficulties to Nocturnal Team 2 if they wish to take this hatch here into Connector, which I think is pretty important to get if you're looking to push the site, because it allows you to sort of cut off one very traditional route of rotating for teams, and also possibly allow your teammates, as Shallow will pick 1 off here, brings it back to even. Potentially allow your team an avenue, really. Missing the mirror of Cotton there does take down the window, at least, as Cotton going to take very heavy pressure. Nitro goes out, Mushroom going to flank him, pick him off. Shallow is downed here. I think he was hit by that Nitro, actually. Luckily for him, not killed, but still not going to be at the best of health. So you can see Shikey. Is that Shelky? I'm not even sure. I'm just gonna shell. VX hits a Nitro from below to pick him off, though. Stomps that vertical play, at least for now. Still, however, having to deal with possibly the bane of Anchor's existence, which would be that Fuse here. You know, has received, over these past few seasons, some pretty nice buffs to his Fuse charge, as well as to his, utility. Does have the utility, I would say, to do vertical, though maybe not as precisely as others. Sort of a smash and grab approach if you're running Fuse. As you can see, very much so, as he's just basically cleared out most of the utility on the objective. However, it's very low time. Despite this man advantage that is very clearly in favor of Nocturnal, they are low on time. They need to get a plant down now. They have the diffuser, and they have a 3-on-1. Shallow going to get 1. Traded actually by Shiesty. I believe he gets a quick double kill on Tuka as well. Mushroom, the last one left. Going to push in, sends out some suppressing fire, hip firing, trying to swing. Unable to get the kill, though. Shiesty, all he has to do is just lay down. He realizes it, holds his fire, stays alive, earns his team a nice lead here. They've continued to make a comeback, as they now guarantee for themselves pretty good position going into the second half. I mean, traditionally, the strong side is T and Karaoke, and the other ones are viewed as not as strong. So I would argue that a 4-2 split in favor of the defense on Skyscraper is preferable for them. Is, above average. Predictions, I am not sure. I feel like it's really early, and these two teams seem to be a close match. Cottam and the rest of Real Ones have sort of kicked it into the second gear here, which I feel is pretty helpful for them as they've made this comeback. And as they've now looked to, as they now look towards the second half, so I'm gonna say, I don't know, 7-5 Real Ones. Not sure, because there has not been a team that is completely dominant. I think one thing to keep in mind here is that very clearly, the attacking team, Nocturnal, they've been sort of stopped in their tracks, courtesy of Trisket and of the others on Real Ones. But we'll have to see if they can finally break through on this last round, because in these past 2 rounds, they've been stagnant. Obviously Shallow has been doing some really heavy work, now leading his team over Shell and over the others when it comes to frags, but obviously it's more than that, and the fact that he's doing that as ace should tell you something, and it should tell you that it's a problem, considering that he's having to both run their hard support, run their hard breach, as well as get all those frags, really. You can see, swinging around, does take down Shell. Removing that Amara is going to take a bit of pressure off them. Aiden gets a quick double kill, however, onto Sprite. Traded by Mushroom, but the damage has been done. He did waste a bit of time, and he got himself traded out, plus a man advantage for his team. So good quick play there by Aiden, as he just manages to ultimately falls to the numbers game, but he certainly made it a painful encounter, really, for the attacking team of Nocturnal Team 2. One thing to keep in mind is that a pretty big morale boost for Real Ones, and for now, as well as going into their second half, is that they just got a site sweep. If you look, they had 3 wins in a row on defense. They managed to win this site. They managed to win Karaoke and Tea, which they, as I mentioned, had serious troubles with earlier on. And they won on what is, to many, a pretty difficult site to win. You know, house and bathroom, or bedroom and bathroom, I believe what it would be called. Which many teams find that, or ultimately they won because they just wasted a lot of time and didn't let the numbers game hurt them too bad. VX gonna fall ultimately to Shallow. I think the that desk that he had hollowed out earlier ended up coming back to bite him there. But you know, if they can waste time here, bring it down to that 20-second mark like we saw in the last round, sort of a 20-second meta-esque moment that we saw prior. Bottom gonna get one here, so he retains the man advantage for his team here. You know, if they can do that, then they will be in prime position. Get themselves that 4-2 split going into their attacking half. Look to capitalize on the momentum gained by that side sweep. You know, they won those 3 sites, especially the really improbable one, which was a sort of house, bedroom, and bathroom. And so it gives them a pretty big morale boost and a lot of momentum in their favor. It's a 2-on-2, technically, because Cottom and Shiesty are on site. Meanwhile, Trisket is over in Timbuktu trying to do something. I can't tell what. There's nobody near him. I think he's waiting maybe for Tuka to push through, but he has multiple ways to get in. He's a headshot Cottom, and now it's basically a 1-on-2 on site. Shiesty going to pick off Mushroom there. Does save his team from possibly very awkward situation as they have to try and retake during low time. Outnumbered as well. Shiesty can take a bit of damage now. Tuka needs to push forward, try and get the pistol kill. However, the 4-1-6 takes him out, gets his team around here. How does this guy have a champ charm? The ego from the peanut gallery. Ooh. Obviously, they shouldn't be watching this, but if they were, I would be interested in seeing how they respond to such a snide remark.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
I agree with this guy.
You can stop worrying about grenades.
Okay, we get it. Quick peek. Alright, 4-2 split in favor of Real Ones, which I initially thought wasn't going to happen. You know, they took 2 very quick losses on this site when they were defending it. But those were the opening 2 rounds, and then they worked a 4-round rally, including, you know, obviously a side sweep, and they used that to propel themselves to a 2-round advantage here. So possibly a safety net, you know, obviously a lead here that they can use to move themselves even closer towards victory. Checking the scoreboard at half, it's Shallow leading his team in terms of frags. 8-5-3-3-2, and on the opposite side, Shiesty with the same amount, 8-5-5-5-3. So clearly, in terms of fragging, which has been the real marker here in this game, is that, you know, these 2 teams are engaged in a shootout. They are firing non-stop. I mean, obviously it's a bit of hyperbole, but all these rounds have been decided basically by which team kills the other team. And Shiesty and the rest of Real Ones have clearly out-fragged Tuca and the rest of Nocturnal Team 2. I think Mushroom going to take a teeny bit of damage there as he's trying to now do this similar roam to what we saw last time around from Real Ones, so sort of turning their own playbook against them a bit. Accompanied here, it appears, by Shallow. But as I was saying, you know, them being able to get these kills, get these frags, not only showing up in the stat sheet, but also in the actual round count. Mushroom going to get the early kill here to kick off the second half onto Shiesty. Actually, removing that man advantage. Tuca falls fragged by Aiden there. So he's going to try and, I believe, push through that first floor, possibly get some vertical going with that one remaining frag. Not a lot that he can do. Sprite takes down VX, takes down that Ace, so pretty noticeable kill. So not only have they lost now their secondary support in Shiesty with that Twitch, the shock drones, but they've also lost their hard reach. They now are going to have a pretty tough time if they want to try and push through Drum and Mezzanine area because of that T-wall, which is reinforced. Obviously, plenty of other avenues to explore, including Geisha, considering that there's a rotate right in the middle of it. But that plus a man disadvantage caused by those losses, and having only a minute left is going to make it tough here. But as I was saying, you know, they've pretty much every single one of these rounds has been won by getting kills, and, you know, at least up until this round, that has very clearly been in the favor of Real Ones, as Aiden will bring it back to even here, takes down Sprite off of just a bit of curiosity, ends up killing the cat. He'll get a third kill on the round, I believe. Shallow, he's going to have to rejoin. Shelky will pick off Aiden. There's a Mushroom going to look to get one. They both strike back now, trying to reclaim the objective, reclaim the really pace of this round as they'll get 2 quick kills, removing that man advantage, turning it around in their favor here. Caught in the last one left, I believe, actually walking into a crossfire. Mushroom picks him off. With control of the diffuser, control of the man count there, it's going to allow them pretty good positioning now. Y'all tire me out, man. Seeing all this stuff.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Reinforcing wall. Deploying welcome mat. Calibrating reservoir going up. Kona deployed.
10 seconds remaining.
Deploying shield.
5 seconds to insertion. Attackers must locate and defuse a bomb.
Welcome mat deployed.
So apparently Aiden's being accused of stream sniping. I don't really get it. I mean, he's 6 and 6.
Welcome mat. Tracks out. Tracks in action.
I see why he has it now. Oh, okay. I'll look at that later. My apologies. Not a lot so far in the early part of this round. Obviously, another exhibition office defense. After on the opening round, Nocturnal Team 2 able to draw first blood, bring it back a bit close. You're still obviously fighting that deficit, but now noticeably smaller. easier for them to overcome. Possibly going to neutralize it this round here if they can pick up a round win here. I think it's strange that they have a Mira with a shield right next to it, sort of redundant. That Ace Selma going to take down that Mira. I think interesting approach to go at it that way, because it's obviously risky to go straight up against a Mira. As I think that was Tuca that just got... No, it was... My apologies, I believe it was Shallow that just got tased. Twitched around by Shiesty, wasted, unfortunately. As you can see, Triska gonna pick off Sprite there. I'm guessing early man... actually, not that early. Man advantage for his team. Aiden gonna now pick off one here. Just gonna get a double kill now. On to Shallow. And defense here being decimated, really, by Nocturnal. Tuca being picked off. Aiden gets a third. EX picks him down, makes him down. That'll be the round. As it's now 5-3 in favor of Aiden and the rest of Real Ones. Congrats to Aiden on hitting double digits.